I am so excited about today's show. It's going to be unbelievable. We've got Brandon Yeagley of Crobot joining me here shortly. Check it out. What's up, everybody? Evan
Oh,
J. Thomas here. Okay. Okay,
it's been
that's
great.
3 for 3 now. Unbelievable.
Let's see what this
I'm
fits.
gonna
There we
keep this
go.
rolling.
There we
We
go.
got
Yeah.
we got Brandon Yeagley of Crobot joining the show. It's been a shit show so far trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the Wi-Fi and the phone. Brandon, you've got a lot going on right now. How are you doing currently right now?
I'm doing great. One foot in front of the other. Trust the process and know that there's going to be gremlins everywhere you go.
So you guys are currently on tour on the West Coast and a little bit of struggle so far on this tour in terms of your bus situation. If you want to kind of delve into it a little bit, I'd like to hear what's going on.
Sure, the struggle bus, as they call it, right? We are certainly on the struggle bus in terms of vehicles this tour. We purchased a new bus, a shuttle bus. It's like an old, you know, uh, airport transport shuttles. And truth be told, we didn't have a lot of time to get it ready. And I do remember, hindsight's always 2020, right? I remember having the conversation with Bishop, our guitar player, um, before he flew out the next day. It was Monday. Things were just kind of falling apart for trying to find somebody to fix this thing and take a look at it. So um, we finally found somebody. It was like everything had to line up perfectly for things to get on the road with this thing, and it did. It did there for a little while, but we were like, you
Yeah.
know what? We were like, maybe you should drive the van up from Austin because sometimes it just doesn't. It matters where the tour starts or where we start, right? I'm in Central Pennsylvania. The rest of the band's in Austin, Texas. So the tour started in Syracuse, New York. So we thought, well, we'll just get the new bus ready to go, and do the thing, put it through the test, if you will. But there was a moment in time where we're like, you know what, maybe you should drive the van up from Austin, because things weren't lining up, getting this thing fixed. But we got everything ready to go. We got an electronic brake system put in it because we have a 7x16 trailer, big boy, so we need electronic
Mhm.
brakes, and got that all done. Got it inspected in time. Um, they didn't change the oil, so we got to Columbus. We're like, all right, well, we're gonna change the oil, and get them to take a look over everything and just see what's going on. Well, Columbus on our day off after we saw you, we took it, got the oil changed. Technician comes in, says, you're gonna need two pulleys and a belt. Fine, take care of it. Two pulleys and a belt and an oil change later, we're on the road. Fast forward another couple days. We get to Denver. We start to hear our brakes squeaking. So we're like, you know what? We don't want to take a risk on the West Coast
Not in
driving
those
through all that.
mountains.
No way, not going to do it. We know how this works out, right? So we scheduled something for Denver, made some calls, got somebody to help us out. And they had it needed brakes and rotors, but they do like a 30-point inspection. Came back and told us, hey, your power steering's leaking on the anti-lock brake system. You got four holes in your exhaust. You're gonna need new wheel bearings on your left passenger side. So there was this mountain of things to do there, and that didn't get done in time. So we had to cancel Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And you know, fast forward Salt Lake. All right, we canceled Salt Lake. We're just gonna go to Seattle. We're like, all right, everything's good though. We're in Seattle. It's gonna be great. We're almost halfway through. Things are looking on the up and up. We start to hear this sound coming from the engine. We start to smell this smell coming from the engine. We pop the hood and we literally watch the serpentine belt snap before our eyes.
Oh,
And the AC compressor was seized. Our bass player Willie was like, that's not moving. That compressor's not moving. Looks like it's seized. And we're like, I don't know. Is that supposed to move? We're not mechanics, you know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that one of us could even tell that something was seized. So you know, hats off to Willie for being aware enough to see that thing not moving. So I mean, we were about to go on stage in, I think it happened like right after we got back from eating dinner. And this is like probably 6, 7 o'clock at night. We made some calls around, found a technician, a mobile service technician who could come out, take a look at it. He literally looked at the thing while we were on stage. We had the whole crowd screaming Nick's name to kind of give him a pep talk while he's out there working on our bus, but he got the wrong part. You know, and it wasn't his fault. He didn't really know what the situation was until he got there. So got there, realized he had the wrong part. So we ordered the part from two places, kind of figuring that the first place would order the wrong part. And also, we had the same part in our trailer from the guy that we bought the bus from. He said, you know, I think that the compressor is, you know, it's not blowing cold air. So we had one on us. Turns out it's the wrong one,
Oh,
and the wrong
Jesus.
part got ordered twice from the contingency plan as well. So we're like, okay, well, I guess just order the right one. And the right one wasn't ordered in time to get there the next day. So today was the day we were told that the part was going to get there. Well, when the part actually got ordered, he said, you know what? The part's not going to come in until Thursday now.
This
So
Thursday?
this
Holy
Thursday.
shit.
So we had to scramble. We're like, all right, we already had to cancel our Vancouver show at that
Vancouver,
point
yeah.
because we were stuck outside of El Corazon in Seattle. So we had the bus towed, we had the trailer towed, and now we're renting a van. We're crammed inside of a 15-passenger van that we have rented. Our bus and trailer are stuck in Seattle. We have no idea what's going to happen at this point. Whether or not the part that's coming in is going to be the right part, we don't know, and we don't really know how we're getting the bus from Seattle to wherever we're going to get the bus to. But the good news is, once we get to Austin, which is in a couple days, a little under a week, we have our van that's sitting in Austin, so we don't have to pay for a rental anymore. We got to figure things out in terms of like cramming our whole touring package into a 15-passenger van. Um, so it's been a rough one. So kids, let this be a lesson to you that this is not glamorous by
I
any
was
means.
just gonna say exactly that. For those that think being a band established for several years, there's still shit like this that happens all the time. And you guys have
All
gotten
the
the brunt
time.
of you guys have gotten the
Yeah.
brunt of it. One of them, obviously, you got your van stole or your trailer stolen several years ago. Now,
Hmm.
I want to kind of delve into that a little bit. So when
Hmm.
that trailer got stolen back, I think it was in, or was that in Texas
20,
too?
2021, 20. Yeah, it was in Texas, Austin,
It was in
Texas.
Texas, and I know you and
Hmm.
I talked about this, I think, last time. So one thing I've noticed since that happened, your stage show has changed a little bit. You used to come out jumping out of an egg. You used to have a little bit more, I would say, flair. Do you think because of that, things have changed you in terms of a performer?
Not necessarily. I think, it just came down to when you take an electric chair in and out of a trailer every night, it starts to get old real quick.
That'll
To go real quick, and and that's not, the bus isn't the only thing that eventually breaks down too, right? Because the gremlins get in that system and the wheels, and it's like, what are we? It looks great, but I think it was a lot of like we were on tour with Guar, and there was no room for our shenanigans on that stage every night. So, we just kind of started to travel lightly, and we're, and truth be told too, like these last couple tours we've been doing like small clubs, and sometimes there's just not room for all this, the props and things like that. Um, but did get stolen, and a few of the other things got stolen in that trailer incident. So we did build another egg. Well, I shouldn't say we. Bishop built another egg, and we have another egg. But it just got to the point where it we just wanted something different. We didn't want to do the same show all the time, and we just kind of were like, all right, let's ditch the props. And honestly, too, Obsidian was more of a serious effort from us, and we kind of wanted,
True.
we'll always not take ourselves too seriously. It's I try to make myself look like the biggest idiot in the room, but it just got down to, we just wanted to, I lost the flair with the clothing. I just was wearing
I
all
was gonna
black.
say the same thing. You're kind
Yeah.
of had changed that as well. You used to wear
Yeah.
the sparkly pants or the gold pants, and
Mhm.
the vests that were a little bit more, but now you're dinged down, I would say a little bit more
Yeah.
gritty looking, not so over showman. But like I said, I mean, if it and seeing you twice in the past 2 weeks, and like you said, Columbus and then Chicago, I haven't seen your style change at all. You're still the
Yeah.
same Brandon on stage, which is amazing. So I do have to give that to you. But yeah, I think kind of like when who's the guy that got his hair cut and kind of lost his powers? I forget his name, but that
Steven
kind of
Tyler.
no, and not Metallica back in the early two or 90s either. But yeah, it's kind of like, do you lose your flair when that happens? So glad you have it. And now getting into new music, you guys just released a song 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, called "Gun to My Head." You've
Mhm.
been playing it basically every show.
Mhm.
And how has this been kind of fans been taking to this? Because as you say, it's going back to your roots. So
Yeah.
what do you talk about this new song?
Yeah, so Gun to My Head has been a gem of the set. And I feel like at this point in time, like being a band for 14 years, it's always how it is. And the new stuff always feels the best, to you as a band, because it's new and exciting, and it's just great to kind of put it out there and see what happens. Um, but this, having the new members, having the brothers a part of the band, and I'll just get into that a little bit of the
Sure.
exposition there. Like they were huge fans of the band in their upbringing, and to have them a part of the band now, we truly feel like we couldn't, we can't replace Bishop and I in terms of like who can be as compassionate about sorry, passionate about this project than us. But what's the second best thing is to have these kids who just grew up learning our songs and playing these songs together in their basement. And on the stage, we've seen covers of them playing Fly on the Wall with their band, and just looked at these kids and we're like, man, if these kids keep at it, they're gonna do something, and here they are, a part of the band. So we want them to be a part of the process of not only the new music but making the set list. So when it came time to make the set list for the this tour, it was a lot of old stuff, a lot of stuff that we haven't played in a long time, a lot of
I've
the
seen that.
funky stuff, the groovy stuff, the stuff that's a lot of feel. And that's what kind of players these kids are. They're feel players. So in terms of Gun to My Head being a part of the set, it's like everything's kind of coming back to this old Crobot sound that was in Something Supernatural, and especially Fat City. Those records were the records that they gravitated towards, and those are the records that a lot of our fans who have been around for 10 to 14 years, they gravitated towards that too, because that's how they found us and that's what got them hooked on us. So it's kind of this full circle moment for everybody, I think. And Gun to My Head is it's also different though. There's something a little different about it. It's got a maturity from us of being through all the trials and tribulations of of the road and writing and working with all these producers and great names that we've been working with over the course of our careers, and bands that we've toured with, they all kind of seep into our influences. We're not fully sealed here, so things, and we need some O-rings changed ourselves probably. So, these influences seep into our brains, and they just, it's really a snapshot of where we're at in life. And I really truly, I always say that about the new music. It's always a snapshot of where we are and where we're at right now. It just feels like everything's going back to that groovy head bob stuff, and again, we started taking a more serious approach to the songs. And truth be told, we were just playing to everyone that was a part of the band their strengths. And Dan was a
Gotcha.
phenomenal drummer, and the songwriting just kind of lend more towards that proto metal style because that's what kind of drummer he is. And we just kind of played to that strength. But also we wanted to take ourselves a little more serious and not you know be a band with a shtick per se. We wanted the music to speak for itself, and the music got dark and it got
It
grungy and it
did
got
for
personal, and a lot of that stuff still, gun to my head is still that. It's a very introspective journey for myself, but in terms of how it like feels, it feels like culture.
Okay, you're kind of cutting in and out. Hopefully, you're okay now. Think we got you. You
I'm
there?
back. I'm back.
Okay, you're good. Yep, you're back. I'm back. All right. Cool. All right. One thing you didn't mention, the two new guys' names. We have Willie and Nico Jensen. Willie's on bass. We got Nico on drums. And I got a chance to meet them at both shows and talk to them a little bit. And they flow with you guys really well. So I love it. I also loved all the members that I've met over the years. Funny little thing, I sent you that picture the other day on your phone that when I first met you in 2017, you probably had no clue who the fuck I was at Chicago. But I was working for the Pit Media, and you were doing an interview with my guy Damian Dennis, and I was like, I know I met Brandon back in the day, and it was you and Bishop, and I was like, holy shit, that was already 8 years ago. So kind of crazy
Crazy.
how crazy how I go from just learning who you were then to actually working with you guys now with Tag Publicity. So I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to do all this with you guys too. So it's been fun. You guys have obviously another 2 weeks of shows coming up.
Mhm.
Obviously, once you get the van back, like, do you have a bucket list place that you want to hit on this tour that you've never been?
Um, yeah, I mean, actually, we're playing Austin and we're playing the Far Out Lounge. I've never played that place. We usually play our buddy Anthony's place, Come and Take It Live, and it just was happened that we didn't book this tour. Atomic Bitchwax's agent did. So, nothing against Anthony and the club. It was just that's where we always play. So it's I've heard this is a really cool place in Austin, Far Out Lounge. So we're excited to hit that. Um, go back to New Orleans. It's been a while since we've been in New Orleans, so that's going to be great. And to end the tour in Philly as well. It's going to be a great way to round out the entire trip and come back home
Yeah. And
and
actually
have
be able to sleep in your own bed once again.
yeah,
Totally.
yep.
Um, I've been kind of around the country the last year or so myself, going to different music venues. I have some of my favorites. One I finally got to get, which was the King of Clubs in Columbus. Also, one of my favorites of all time is a Machine Shop. Do you have a favorite venue that you've hit, whether it's US or overseas? Because you got that coming up too.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of clubs that you remember for the wrong reasons, and there are a lot of clubs you remember for the right reasons, right? And we had
Very true.
a snippet of that a couple days ago. We played Portland at the Nova, which there's like a killer flight of stairs to get all the gear
Oh
up. And
God.
that's why you remember that place. But not only that, to bring Willie and Nico back into the conversation, it was a full circle moment for those guys and their family. They came out to that show. It was like 13 years ago. We played a show with their band, and it was Nico's first show he had ever played as a drummer. He was like, I don't know, like 13
I
years
was
old.
gonna say you had to been
Yeah,
young.
dude, he was like 13 years old. And we played a show with these kids, and they were just like, they blew us away. We're like, guys, just keep doing what you're doing because you guys are awesome already, and you guys aren't even like 16 years old. It was insane. So it was a full circle moment for those boys to kind of play the same place that they had played. Like
Yeah,
Nico played his first show with Crobot there like 11 years ago. So it was wild. Um, and I think that place will hold a place in all of our hearts because of that. But in terms of like, machine shop, that's always a place that you see on the itinerary. You're like, oh well, that's going to be a great show.
hmm
There are quite a few of those places, in the Midwest. Anywhere honestly, we play up and show up in Chicago. The Beardos come out. That's one of our places that we play that we usually have a pretty big draw. So anywhere we play in Chicago, we know it's gonna be a great time. But we a place we looking forward to playing. We looked at Glasgow just the other day. We're like, are we playing that place called the Cat House in Glasgow? Because we had the flashbacks to flights of stairs after we had the Nova. Hope we don't have that
God.
place on our itinerary. It's a great place to see a show. It's a great place to play. Glasgow is one of my favorite cities in the entire world, but those stairs are just brutal. And I'm talking like 3 flights. And the stairs mock you
Oh
on the way.
God.
It's like
Even that.
you're almost there.
Whoa.
You're just about there. It's pretty wild, but thankfully we're not playing that place this time around only because of the stairs. So Cat House, if you're listening, we love you, but we just don't
Uh,
love the stairs.
so back in August, I was at a place called I think it's called the Bowery Electric in New York,
Oh
which
yeah,
also
played that
has
played that place.
some really shitty stairs. And then in Chicago, there's the Underground Lounge, and I'm like, I don't know how people even get shit down there because right at the bottom there's this curve, and it's like you can't have anything too big or you're screwed. I've
Yeah,
had bands look at it and even say, I'm not doing this show just because I can't get my stuff down there.
yeah,
So it's kind
it's
of
a
crazy.
struggle.
And so when's the European tour starting?
I believe December 2nd is the first gig. And it's like 2 weeks in the UK, so
Okay, so
um,
not too bad.
it's not too bad. Usually we like to pair it up with a UK Euro tour just because those flights are pretty expensive, so we like to stretch it out. But we got the holidays, and I think we only have like 6 or 7 days in between this tour and that tour. So we get to go
Yeah,
home and have Thanksgiving with our families, and we're right back out again, and then we get to come home and be with our families for Christmas. So it's a busy rest of the year for us. But we are looking at really looking forward to going back to the UK. It's been a long time, and it's the brothers have yet to be over across the pond, so it's very exciting to live vicariously through
yeah,
through those boys.
exactly. So on your downtime, say you have some. I mean, I know how you are working wise. What do you do like in your downtime outside of music? I know you're a lifer. We've already discussed that, you and I
Mhm.
personally. But
Yeah,
outside of that, like what drives you?
I meditate a lot. I read books. I picked up Tai Chi. Um,
Mm,
and another thing that's kind of happened to me, and I'll lift the veil here a little bit. I found out I had Lyme disease like 6 months ago or so,
wow.
and it gets really bad sometimes. And I've changed my diet, I've changed my lifestyle, but you know, it, it's a lot of the self talk too. You know, you wake up and you just everything hurts. and the road is rough to us out here too. So
Mhm.
having to lift stuff up the stairs. We don't have a crew, right? So we're doing all this ourselves. We're going through all these things and ourselves, and we're trying to figure out this bus situation on our own. So it's mentally taxing, it's physically taxing. But I try not to let anything affect the present, and I've just been trying to, even in terms of like what the next record is about and where I'm at in my life and what I've been doing is just trying to be present a lot more and not letting that self talk of like you know what's happened in the past kind of compound on your brain to get you feeling
Yep.
fear and anxiety and thinking about the future and living in probability, and it's just something that it just doesn't serve me, and I'm realizing that more and more, and I think it's just kind of the universe telling me that, with these ailments and things that have come up and reared their ugly heads to me on my side. So I'm just trying to take things a step at a time, just trying to kind of not take things for granted anymore. I mean, let's take a look. Hopefully, I don't get too choppy here, but look at this skyline. Look at this
Damn.
just Pacific Northwest beauty right now.
Absolutely
So,
love it.
yeah, it's like my favorite part of the country. So I'm just trying to be a lot more aware. And honestly, I'm just trying to like sit on park benches and just be thankful to be here and be able to do what I do, and I love what I do, and I just love being a performer. Things I don't like necessarily are being away from my family, but it makes me be grateful for the present even more. And that's what I'm doing with my downtime, out here on the road. Back home, it's a little different, because I'm a father, I'm a husband. I'm also like, I do real estate. But I also I'm a lifer. I love music. So I'm just always engulfed in the process, some way, shape, or form, whether it's listening to new music or just trying to be present in that as well. And just trying to take in as much as I can. But it's kind of where I'm at with life these days is, one foot in front of the other and just, goose fraba, and a lot of meditation, a lot of reading books and doing some Tai Chi.
I love how you put that too, where you don't look back at issues you've had. You learn from them and then you move forward.
Hmm.
I myself had my heart attack 4 years ago, 2021 September. And since then, I've kind of just been like, I just need to enjoy what I'm doing and try not to think too far ahead. I don't really ever think about what happened in the past
Hmm.
because that's where it is back there. I build on that. So for you to say that exact same thing kind of, hits and resonates very well with what I do too. And you just do the positivity, enjoy what you do, travel, get out there. That's what you're doing. I got to do the Pacific Northwest back in July. First time I was ever out there, and it was an incredible situation. I got to drive the RV for the band and just see like Eugene, Oregon, and fucking Idaho and Montana. It was like unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful time to be alive.
Yeah.
And that's all you should think about, and a lot of us forget that, we beat ourselves up a lot. We compare ourselves to others a lot. And,
Yeah. Why?
yeah, you just have to understand. And, I'm still guilty of it myself. That kind of thought process seeps in sometimes, no matter how hard I try. But you just gotta, you shake it off and just live for the moment. And that's what we're out here doing, and I couldn't think of doing it with a better group of individuals than what we've
Mhm.
got going on here. So I thank myself every day out here for just being able to still continue to do this.
Amazing. And I got to know what's the oddest thing or something said to you when you were working as a realtor. When you do that, when somebody sees you and be like, don't I kind of know you? Do you get that? Like, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you with that?
I do get that
I can just imagine.
sometimes.
being a
Yeah.
realtor and you walking up and I'd be like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, but the other part of it is I don't get it too, and I get to just not I never put on a front, and that's my whole thing is like I just live to be truly authentic, and that's what I bring into real estate, and I do genuinely love it. I love I love servicing people. I love helping people, and I also used to be a CNA, a nurse at a nursing home, and that was a very fulfilling thing for me. And I kind of take that with whatever I do. I'm just trying to bring the best value that I can, and I do get it sometimes, but a lot of the times I don't, and it took a lot of times for me to like show up in the business suit to realize like this isn't me, and anybody who knows me,
I'm
this
the
isn't what they want
exact
from
same
me.
way. I'm the exact same way. I mean, I will wear a dressier shirt. I can't wear a tie. I just don't
Yeah.
want. I mean, you see this neck? I can't wear a tie with this neck. Yeah, so I get it. You know what? I just show a flair of what I wear. Just if it's going to be professional or not. Normally, it's a
Yeah.
band T-shirt, something like that, blue jeans, whatever. But yeah, that's got to be interesting sometimes when, and obviously you're not going to get the comments from the people. They'll just see you probably talk to themselves, but they'll be like, "Oh my God, this guy might be somebody." But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I've learned to wear the band tees and the leather now. It's just like just be
be
myself and
you
not try to.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what people want mostly. And again, it wasn't me trying to, be inauthentic. I love wearing a suit. I love wearing a tie. I think it's,
Yeah, I don't.
it makes me feel a certain
I
way.
like wearing a jacket. I don't mind wearing a jacket or a polo or a button-up shirt, but yeah, to go with a tie, that's not my vibe. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't have the struggles of that neck though, so.
No, you don't. You got the big, thick neck. I want to ask, where do you think, or where do you see your band Crobot in the next 5 years? What are your goals for the band?
Just continue doing what we're doing. And, now we find ourselves in a place of we've got the backing of Megaforce for just distribution, and that's really it. And we love them for that. We love them. They knock it out of the park. They help us get our music out there to the masses. But when it comes to terms of like who's behind the curtain of the innards of this band, it's us now. There's no label telling us what to do.
Yeah,
We bounce ideas off of Missy and the crew, and they're great for being acceptable and giving us direction of like what's realistic. Because
yeah,
a lot of we're not realistic idea people out here. We are very unrealistic with our ideas. I mean, I've hatched out of an egg for about 5 years of our career, so it's a lot of pipe dreams and delusions of grandeur, but that's what we love. We love throwing spaghetti at the wall. We love just seeing what sticks out here. But in 5 years, I just hope that we're still showing up to clubs and playing for an audience of however many people care about us enough to just still come see us. Because we're just gonna keep releasing music at the rate that we do. I mean, it's feels like a year and a half record cycle seems to fit us pretty well. So
okay,
we're just going to keep putting music out there, just keep being our authentic selves, whether it's on the stage or in the studio, because we love this. And this is, it's not glamorous. Exhibit A, B, C of what has happened to us just on this tour alone. But, we truly love each other out here. We love making records together. We love just dealing with all this BS that comes with the territory together. And just we're just gonna keep on doing the thing at whatever capacity we can.
that's awesome. Yeah, and hopefully you have a pretty badass publicist that you can stick with for a while too.
You're killing it, man. So we
I'm
appreciate
doing
that.
what I can. I'm doing what I
Yeah.
can, and I'm helping out whatever way I can also. So again, I do appreciate everything that you let me do for you guys, especially back in May when I got to introduce you guys on stage at a fucking festival. I still
Yeah, that
have
was
that
cool.
video on my phone that's never gonna go away. That was that was intense for me because it was a bucket list thing. And again, thank you. And I want to ask though, before I have two more things before we go.
Yeah.
Anything else new music wise coming up in the next few months? Obviously, you probably have something you can't tell me on air right now, but
Mhm.
do your best.
Yeah, so we've got a new record. We're getting the last bit of masters back, and we've got a special guest on the next record. So we're awaiting that as well to be finished up and ironed out. But for the most part, the record is close to being ready to deliver and get into production. We've got a few loose ends to tie up once we get to Austin. A few little things we got to record, and then it's basically going to be done. So be on the lookout for a new record, probably a new single to drop around the UK tour, because we kind of want to couple something there with some new music, some more new music. So we're going to do that. I believe that's the plan. But yeah, the next record is, again, it's going back to the roots. It's going back to the old dirty groove rock sound that a lot of the old fans have fell
Hell
in
yeah.
love with. And not that it's not heavy too. It's definitely heavy in moments. But we're super excited about the new record, about having the new guys aboard on this effort. It feels like 24 again, and making music, but in a more mature process and approach. And again, I really truly went inward with this next record. There's a lot of philosophical nature involved with this. It's a lot of um, again, I'm very spiritual. I don't tie myself to any one religion. In fact, I try to learn about them all to kind of pull in
There you
what
go.
I can really get down with and believe in, because I think it's all relative. And it's a lot of that. It's still mythology, but it's a lot more spiritual mythology this time around, and a lot of my inner experiences. And I've just had a lot of a lot of inner visions and things through my meditation practices, and that I've really kind of put into the lyrical themes this time around. So it's a different journey. It's a different journey for me. It's going to be a different journey for the fans. It's very relative when, back within the something supernatural days, I'm singing about chupacabras and necromancers and
Yep.
wizards and dragons, and it's still that, but it's more of like what I've seen with my own eyes when I've peered inward. So it's exciting for me because I've never really traveled down this road of putting myself out there. Now, again, full disclaimer: there's a veil of sorts when it comes to my lyrics, and I've usually tie things with stories. So it's not exactly like here's what happened to me, and the
Sure.
full journey, if you will. It's a lot of like what I've read and literature and characters that I've kind of gravitated towards, and that's what Gun to My Head's about. It's when I read Siddhartha by Herman Hesse, really changed my life in terms of, here's this prince who kind of gave himself away and dissolved his ego to find what truly was the meaning of life to him. And although he didn't walk the same path as the Buddha, there was a lot of relativity there in terms of philosophy and methodology. So it was an interesting journey for me to read that book, and I've kind of attached that to Gun to My Head, and there's a lot of that in the new record, the new material. So it's exciting for me as well, and I think it'll be exciting for the fans too.
I love that you're such a deep thinker and you do your thing instead of, trends. That's just
Yeah,
what I've noticed about you, noticed about your band. You don't go with the bullshit trends. You're who you are. And that's what it is.
yeah,
So
for that sometimes,
it's
but
amazing. And
we're willing to.
there is. I did also hear that you might be a new contributor to a magazine called Sound Fairy Magazine. So I'm like looking forward to some of those articles as well. Just
Yeah,
saying,
well,
I'm excited.
listen, you we tour to talk about the stories of the road here because there are a great many stories that have just happened
Totally,
this last week. So yeah, I'm very
totally,
excited about that as well.
totally.
Honestly, I've always been a fan of music. I'm the kid in your high school that was trying to show you bands that you've never heard of. My
Yep.
CD wallet, I'm going to show my age. My CD wallet was huge of just and I grew up in the era of torrents and Napster, and I didn't buy those records. I didn't
Mhm.
have money, but
Yeah,
I bring that to being an artist, putting music out there and trying to do this as a livelihood. I welcome that stuff. I don't care how you hear about us, whether it's Spotify or somebody burning a CD for you. I don't care. Just come see us.
yeah.
Do us that solid and just come see it because that's the experience. But I love writing. I love, journalism. I love going to see shows. And it's those moments outside of being in a band and traveling the world, doing the thing, when I take my daughter to see Metallica and I still get those feelings and I come home with knees that are black and blue from me drumming so hard on them, it makes me realize that this is what I want to do. It's not. I love real estate and I love the side hustles and sometimes I'm out there chasing butterflies and getting in the way of trying to make things work financially, but I do is just bleed me and give myself to and donate my body for the greater good, whether it's pen hand wrist and pen or if it's out here just throwing my knees and neck out of alignment. I just want to give everything to music because that's who I am, no matter where I'm at, if I'm on the stage or in the seats watching it. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to contribute.
Motherfucking lifer right there. As he says as well. He is a lifer. One more little thing before we go. Rock and roll will never die because what?
Because the fans keep it alive. And that's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. You can say what you want about the bands and sounds and who, does it sound like rock and roll? Is it rock and roll? It doesn't matter. It's a philosophy.
Mhm.
And that's what you can't kill. And you can't kill the philosophy of rock and roll as long as there's people out there that feel a certain way, feel like they're outcasted. Yeah, you know what? Rock and roll isn't a part of the Grammys. Who gives a shit, dude? Because that's, Zach Wilde said it best. You know what? These are the people that were going to my sister's parties, and I love my sister, but she listens to pop music. I can't listen to that shit, right? And this is that it's
Not
not
exactly.
verbatim.
Not
I'm
quote yes.
paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, but that's the truth of it out here. And honestly, I love pop music. My daughter listens to
I
Taylor
love it
Swift.
all.
I think yeah, I love it all. I think there's something to be learned from everything. But in terms of role, it's never going to die as long as people feel a certain way, don't fit a certain mold. What we're all about. I mean, look at this. I wake up like this. This is me, right? I don't care. And that's what rock and roll is all about. It's about just being yourself, feeling a certain way. And as long as the fans feel a certain way, and as long as there's this collective consciousness of us all not fitting a certain mold, I think rock and roll is never going to die. It's going to change shape, it's going to change form, but that's what bacteria
Sure.
does. That's what viruses do. And that's what we are. We're a virus, and we're never going to go away as long as that's alive.
That's it. That's all I needed from Brandon. And I can't wake up like this every day because I have to paint this shit once in a while. So it is, it is what it is. Brandon, amazing having you on again. Make sure you check them out on tour. They got up until the 23rd. They're going to be on the West Coast / then back to the East Coast. Like you said, Pennsylvania on the 23rd is the last date. And then they'll be hitting UK, Europe in December 2nd. Check out the brand new song, Gun to My Head. Check out their new music coming soon. Any last words before we go?
No, just stay tuned. We've also got a new membership portal that we're rolling out. We're still in beta for that, but we've got this new
I know a
community.
little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We brought you on as a beta tester, so it's something that we just we kind of we travel our own path, right? And social media is a great necessary evil, and we love it for what it does for us. But we're just taking more of our focused efforts and putting it more into our community, and we're kind of doubling down on our fan base. So stay tuned for the Beardo 2.0 to get rolled out in a big way. And also, I've got the third issue of Legend of the Spaceborne Killer comic probably coming out within the next, I'd say, 6 months. We're just wrapping up getting things tidied up there with the actual comic itself. So we're going to be putting that into production. We've got new music coming out next year. So there's a lot to be had for the Beardos out there.
I'm excited for every single part of it. So, again, Brandon, thank you for joining me today on the Better Listen Up with Evan J. Thomas show. And, I'll be talking to you later or tomorrow or both or whatever. So, enjoy the rest of your day. Get some lunch, do what you need to do, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, brother. Always appreciate you
Appreciate it.
having me.